Hey, pro organizers, it's Melissa. And I am doing this is just a late night off the cuffs. Hey, how's it going? And I want to tell you about something that I have going on. This is really big news because if you've followed me for any length of time, you'd be like, this is weird. But you guys, I have officially become an influencer. Okay. This is very exciting. I'm absolutely thrilled to be joining the ranks of the influencer community. And I can't wait to tell you about what I am influencing because it's actually really ironic in the Alanis Morissette way of ironic and lots of other things. But I have done something this year that, well, let me just back up and say I have a lot of really, really lofty goals this year. And I am acutely aware it's already halfway through February, which is actually incredibly crazy. This last year definitely went very fast. It was a challenging year, but it went super fast. But this year feels like, okay, I think it's going to go fast too. And I have so many things that I'm excited about and that I'm ready to do this year. But one of the things that I really ran into last year is I let so many things slide, like personally, professionally, just, a lot of just life happenings happening, and I let a lot of things slide, and as I was going into kind of the end of the holiday season, when you start thinking about, a new year, all that kind of stuff, I happened upon this is also gonna be ironic when I tell the rest of the story. I happened upon a TikTok where the person was talking about this Japanese word that they love, and I am so excited. In about 3 months, I will be back in Japan on a trip with Marie Kondo and company, and so I love learning about Japanese language and culture and everything, and there's this word that was misogi, misogi. And the concept, if I'm breaking it down to be just the most immensely simple distillation, it is doing very hard things. So picking something that you think you have less than a 50% chance of actually completing. And so I read a lot of stuff about this and I was like, "Oh, I really, really like this concept." And so I really want to embrace that. So I just quietly, privately think of that word. But one of the things when I think about I have a lot of hard things to do this year. I have a lot of health goals. I'm not in the health condition that I want to be in. I have life goals. I have financial goals. I have all these things. And where am I spending my time? And I found myself at the end of last year just feeling so disconnected. Like I was just constantly searching for escape or dopamine rush or any of those things that we get from these little, 7-inch devices that we walk everywhere with and sleep with and all the things. And I really started looking at this, this concept of misogi and what I wanted to do. And then trying to reconcile that with how much time a day I was spending on my phone, which is, I mean, I'm not gonna bore you with my screen time stats. Absolutely unbelievable, especially around the holidays, like, you're relaxing, you're not really doing anything, but whew, I was really on that phone much too much. So, the point of this story is I was thinking about where am I thoughtfully and unthoughtfully spending my time? Is unthoughtfully a word? I don't think it is. Anyway, and what I realized is I would find myself and part of it is I see my kids, right? My kids are digital natives, and I watch them when they flip through TikTok, when they flip through Instagram, and it's like it almost looks like by the way, I would say this if they were standing right here, they definitely do not listen to this podcast. They just kinda look like zombies, just, like, going through the motions and just flipping, and they flip so fast, there's no way your brain is absorbing any of that, and I have seen it in myself and my husband. We jokingly call my husband an iPad kid because we'll be like, "Hey, hey, Tim, dad," and sometimes he's like, "Huh, huh, huh." I mean, he's totally engrossed in dog videos on TikTok. Dogs or sports, one of those 2 things. And so I really just found myself thinking a lot about social media, and I feel so strongly. I mean, I have preached this from the very beginning, 5, 6, almost 6 years ago when I started here. And I have preached this nonstop that you do not need to have any social media at all to be an organizer. You can have zero. and you can have a thriving organizing business. And I believe that so sincerely, but I was finding myself, it's not that I wasn't practicing what I'm preaching because I wasn't posting on social media. If you go to either my Home by 11 or my Pro Organizer Studio, I haven't posted there in a while, but I was consuming so much content. And here's what was happening to me. So, in addition to really just losing a lot of time during the day, and when I say a lot of time, I mean hours. And those hours were not coming from work time. Those hours for me were coming from I should be asleep because I am tired. I need to wake up early tomorrow. I have a taxing day tomorrow. I'm physically tired from a job today, whatever that looks like, right? I found myself in this situation where there was a phrase that I heard of during the really dark days of the early days of the pandemic, and it was called revenge bedtime procrastination. Because there's this concept of like my days aren't really my own anymore. So like at night when I don't have like home or work responsibilities, I'm just going to be on my phone for hours, because I didn't really get to do what I wanted to do today. And so I've embraced that phrase and I recognize that I'm doing it. Revenge bedtime procrastination. But it's very real. And so I found myself, instead of doing the things I wanted to for my health, I would be scrolling TikTok for hours. And I would look and I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's 12:30 in the morning and I really need to go to bed. And I just was wasting so much of my life on it. And when I bring all these things together, all of these ramblings of the last few minutes, I really landed on something that I said, okay, what would be one of the hardest things that I could do this year? And Cabri and I had recorded a podcast in December. It was like an end of the year podcast. And I said something to her in that podcast about, I don't know, I might take a break from social media. And she says in the podcast, oh my gosh, when you said that, it made me nervous. Like she was nervous that I was considering giving up social media because we're just, this is the world we live in, right? You just go like, oh my gosh, I would miss all the things. So I was thinking about all of these things and the concept of misogi. And I said, okay, I am going to, on January 1st, I am going to delete Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, anything that I find addictive in any way, anything social media that I find addictive, I am deleting it from my phone. Now, in the case of Instagram and TikTok, if someone sends me on my phone a TikTok or an Instagram, I cannot play it on my phone because I do not have the apps. And so that was one of the first things I thought of is, okay, so in addition to, there are people that I do like to keep up with on all of these platforms, people that I actually know and people that I don't. And so I was like, oh, I'm gonna miss things. My second thought was my kids and I, and so all four of us in our family, we love to exchange funny things, So during the day, it's actually a fun way for me to connect with my kids. And so I was like, oh, well, I still have to find a way to be able to watch. Like if the kids send me something, I'm still going to watch it because that's a way of interacting with them and chatting about the things that are fun or important to them. And so I was like, okay, there's that. But then I really just had that, what am I going to do when I'm bored? Or what am I going to do when I got to, this is much, much more probable. What am I going to do when I'm avoiding the other things that I don't want to do? Because I could find 1,000 reasons in a day to be like, oh, I worked for a solid 10 minutes. I returned 3 emails. I'm going to just treat myself with a few TikToks. And pretty soon you're down this rabbit hole. The other thing that I have discussed this a couple of places before. I'm not sure. I can't remember if I've talked about it on the podcast or not. But if I can't remember if I've said it or not, you guys definitely are not going to remember whether I said it or not. But one of the things that I found myself doing last year a lot is I would feel a lot of pressure. So when I was watching Instagram's, Reels or TikToks or, the algorithm is algorithming. It knows what you do want to see and maybe some things that will kind of hit you in a way that makes you interact more. And so I would have a combination of, I would have business things that would show up. And then I would say, oh gosh, there's just another thing I'm not doing for my business. Or, oh my gosh, I've got to make sure that all the organizers that I talk to know about X, Y, and Z. Or, oh my gosh, why am I not thinking about starting a brand new business? Why don't I start 3 more businesses? Like there just is, there's a lot of pressure there. Okay. And then also on the personal front, I would feel pressure of like, oh, I'm not doing the things. I'm not, making a full gourmet dinner every night. I am not brewing my own gin in the basement. I am not growing my own vegetables. Like, oh, you bought Brussels sprouts from the store. I grow mine in my backyard. I started to feel this pressure of like, oh, good, there's more stuff I'm supposed to be doing. Oh, and then we'll start the weight loss ones. All these people going, oh, I lost this and I did this. And then you go like, oh yeah, I remember I need to, work out more. I need to eat healthier. There just was like constant, you should, you should, you should, you should. And I will admit there are some things that are lovely. Like for instance, TikTok is how I found out about misogi. There are absolutely wonderful things on all these platforms, but if I did the net, if I did the ROI, the return on investment, is the 1% or the 5% or the 10% of really great things, does that overwhelm the other 90% of more toxic, unhelpful things? And so I just said, I am deleting everything January 1st. And I did. Deleted it after midnight, right after the ball dropped. And I said, okay, we're doing this. So I did not give myself oh, well, New Year's Day doesn't really count. Nope, they were gone after midnight on New Year's Eve. And I'm going to be totally honest. You know that the misogi concept is give yourself something that you have less than a 50% chance, a 50% chance or less of finishing. And I will be honest, I said, I think given my history of willpower or lack thereof, I said, oh, I think I'm going to cave right away. Because do you know what I've caved on before? I've caved on screen time limits. I've caved on timers. I did get the brick. I talked about it in the podcast in December, and I did end up getting the brick. It's useless, by the way. Do not buy it. And if someone wants mine, just let me know. But I've been able to just run through all those things, right? Because they're all things that are super easy to get around, right? And so when it's a screen time limit, you just click off. It's so simple. You just go, like rescind screen time for the rest of the day. And by the way, the rest of the day might be 8 in the morning. And you've already used your screen time by 8 in the morning. And then you're like, no, whatever. I have a lot of hours till midnight. So there were things that I found in my own life. I will tell you in general, my switches are on or off. I'm black and white about a lot of things. I'm either eating incredibly healthy and like making balanced meals and, getting my allotment of vegetables, or I am eating a pizza every night. I just, moderation is not something that is something that I've been acquainted with at any juncture in my life. And so for me, I realized I had to remove the thing from in front of me. I listened to an audiobook last year about anxiety because, so many kids these days have it, so many of our clients have it, so many of us have it. But I could be a very high anxiety person, and I try really hard not to let it get in the way, but it does, right, for all of us. And so I was reading this book, and one of the things they were talking about was like habit development and other things as it relates to anxiety. And they had this phrase that is from the field of addiction medicine. And it's, for people who are in active addiction and can't get out of it. And the phrase is continued use despite adverse consequences. So I'm going to keep doing this thing, even though it does something bad for me. And honestly, I really thought that I wouldn't be able to do it and thought that I would cave like I do to a lot of things. So I would be giving into the continued use despite adverse consequences. Well, it is February 18th at 9:39 p.m. Central Time when I'm recording this. And the only thing that I still do on any social media is I do have active Facebook groups for some of the communities I run at Pro Organizer Studio. And we have just an absolutely lovely few Facebook groups where people are helping each other with their organizing businesses. I do log on to that every day, but I have a filter on my computer where Facebook goes directly to that group. I just look at what's in the group and then I am out. Other than that, nothing is on my phone. No Instagram, no TikTok, no Facebook. I quit LinkedIn altogether. I hate LinkedIn, but that's another podcast for another time. But I was not interested in LinkedIn anymore. In addition to my groups, I will on my laptop watch, if my kids send me a TikTok, I will watch the one TikTok. I will comment on it and then I will go back. I feel like this is a fine part of a rule break for me because it does not involve scrolling. It is only on my laptop, so it's a completely finite thing, and it's my kids. All of this has been off my phone for 6 weeks. And when I tell you that I have not one single ounce of regret, or I have not felt in any way like I'm missing out on anything, it has been very positive for my mental health. It has really, really helped with that. I am sleeping at a normal time. That's part of my health routine is I'm really devoting time and energy to sleep as much as possible. Maybe not tonight. Tonight may not be a good example of that, but I am reading more. I have already finished so many books this year. I will definitely I keep track of my books. I'm a big reader. And I will for sure surpass my 2025 reading by the month of March because I'm really devoting a lot more time to reading. And I've got a lot of my time back. And I'm sure there are things that I am missing. I'm sure there are happy things I'm missing. I am sure that there are, pieces of news that I'm missing. About friends or family or bigger news. Obviously, I stay informed. I still have a news app that I will go to so that I know what's going on in the world, but I'm also not getting my news from TikTok. I'm getting my news from, sources that I feel are helping me understand the full story of all of the things going on in our world. And I just really cannot I just can't possibly give you more encouragement if this is something you have been considering. I'm telling you, do it. I'm so glad I did. And I also have decided I don't have an endpoint. I think to truly embrace misogi, I think I would absolutely like to see if I could do it for all of 2026. I also am giving myself the luxury to say like, hey, I'm also allowed to change my mind. And if I say, hey, I did it for the first 3 months of the year, and I'm gonna, let myself go and scroll a little bit on the weekend or whatever. I will feel free to do that, but I don't feel any particular like excitement or compulsion about that. And that's weird, and I'm excited about that too. I think I'm like really proud. It sounds absolutely ludicrous to be like, I'm so proud that I gave up social media. But at the beginning of this, when I said, hey, guys, I have some big news, I'm an influencer now. One of the funniest things that has come out of this is I have told some of my really good friends, some in organizing and some just my personal non-organizing life friends. And I have told lots and lots of people that I've done this. And I now have several people that I have evangelized slash converted to the give up social media side. And so I was joking the other day, there were 2 people who told me within like the space of about 2 days that they had taken my lead and deleted all their social media from their phones. And I was like, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm an influencer. Finally, I'm an influencer to get people off of what the influencing platforms are, which is maybe it's only funny to me, but it is funny to me. So I just would love to encourage you if this is something, and I cannot tell you how many times I have said this in the course of my coaching career. People just have this. The FOMO definitely isn't the word, but fear. Fear definitely is the word. Fear of what might happen if they don't post on social media. Well, I've got news for you. I haven't posted on Home by 11, my organizing Instagram, in months. I legitimately can't remember. It's probably around How To Summit, so 6 months or whatever. I still am getting inquiries. And by the way, I'm not even taking organizing clients right now. I'm still getting inquiries almost every single day. I have not posted on Pro Organizer Studio social media. I'm still getting clients in our communities almost every single day. You just don't need it as much as you might think you will. So in the upcoming weeks, If you feel particularly compelled, I will tell you there will be some more content on Pro Organizer Studio because Cabri does love social media and she is going to be posting some things. So you'll see some things out there. Cabri will be definitely for sure happy to respond to you if you want to DM. But if you are feeling like you want to take a little break and would love to join me, I'm happy to be an accountability partner for you. You can email me at hello@proorganizerstudio.com. And I would be absolutely thrilled to welcome you to the community. I would like to influence you to quit some social. So give it a try. I cannot more highly recommend it. All right. That's your little mini-sode. I'll be back. Let's see, probably early next week with some fun stuff. So I hope that you have an absolutely wonderful evening, and I'll talk to you soon.